Well, maybe the hottest topic across politics right now: should former President Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot? It's been a very new venture in recent months. Some states are working through if Trump should be banned from the ballot because of his role in the January 6 incidents at the Capitol. Insurrection, many are calling it. Colorado and Maine, they both made headlines in the recent past for going down that path. In fact, Colorado Supreme Court even has already said, no, Trump should not be on our ballot. The decision, though, in all 50 states on the topic, it could vary, putting Secretary of State in an odd position. I sat down this afternoon with Idaho Secretary of State Phil McGrain, my goodness, to get a pulse on the topic and what he and his colleagues are following.
We obviously have a very significant election coming up this year. I'm sure all of the viewers are well aware of that.
Idaho Secretary of State Phil McGrain, along with 49 of his colleagues, will run the 2024 election cycle from east to west, north to south. One catch causing concern: will all 50 states have matching ballots?
Starting back in September, we started to receive inquiries from all around the country in terms of what to do regarding President Trump and access to the ballot. That really started us to look at it, and to me to talk to some of my peers. I think at the core of the issue, though, is really democracy is about giving people a voice. And one of the things we're seeing is that being tested in terms of what choices people will have on the ballot.
Voters and officials in some states point to the 14th Amendment as a reason why Donald Trump should not be allowed on the ballot. 14th Amendment states that no person shall hold office if they engaged in insurrection or rebellion. And some believe the former president did that on January 6, 2021. Others don't. Colorado Supreme Court has already ruled to remove Trump.
This can't be a 50-state solution. Having each of the secretaries make independent decisions is only going to further polarize our country. We're going to end up with differing decisions. So you'll see blue states do one thing, red states do another. That's not healthy for the system.
McGrain, along with 10 other secretaries of state, filed this brief with the United States Supreme Court as that court weighs if states like Colorado can remove Trump. McGrain and his colleagues are asking SCOTUS for direction and a unified ruling for all 50 states. They also argue that secretaries of state do not and should not have the power to disqualify federal candidates under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. They warn in their brief of a parade of horribles if they have the power to disqualify in this circumstance, and fears of partisan abuse, tit-for-tat disqualifications.
We're going to be gathering here in 2 weeks to talk about everything leading up as just secretaries of state. I think one of the big things, this is a ministerial function. We are largely the referee of the elections process, trying to make sure, regardless of party affiliation, regardless of where you sit on the political spectrum, that you can have confidence that when you head to the polls, your vote's going to count.
Complicated nature of it all is hard to follow for voters from coast to coast. In Maine, for example, the Secretary of State, Sheena Bellows, ruled that Trump didn't qualify for the ballot. McGrain called to check in on the development.
She highlighted that, she put a stay on her own decision, hoping that the Supreme Court would weigh in on it. I think there is this collective, looking for guidance. There's a lot of amped up pressure related to this election, especially following the 2020 election. I know voters in Idaho are concerned about the process.
The United States Supreme Court will hear arguments beginning on February 8th in this case. SCOTUS will make a major decision shaping politics, no matter what they rule.
And I think collectively we don't want to be making separate and different individual decisions. And so hopefully this case coming up will resolve that.
What are you hoping for, as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of attention on this. I think the court recognizes also that this is a hot topic. Hopefully I'll be watching this closely just to see what guidance they give us. But the election's already underway. So any decisions that have to be made soon. We have our own cases here in the state of Idaho that we're watching closely as well. I can't emphasize enough, everyone thinks of even our primary election. May 21st sounds far away, but for us running the elections, it feels like it's right up on us right now to get everything ready.
And thank you to Secretary of State Phil McGrain for his time today. We will be checking in with him as, again, this goes through the court process. We'll keep a close eye on this. Again, expected to hit SCOTUS February 8th.